I have this HON3 layout that I volunteered to bring to a train show in a couple of weeks. And I was at Dollar Tree today and I found a bunch of Christmas Village stuff. And sitting beneath my HON3 layout is basically my standard gauge test layout that sits in the corner of my workshop. It's basically become a junk repository over the last couple of years. Some unfinished projects, some project boxes, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this small loop. It's about 3 feet by 4 feet. I am going to convert it into a Christmas Village layout to take with me to the train show. So if you watch along, I will convert this using some cheap dollar store stuff and convert some trains to make them look cool for a nice Christmas Village. So here's the stuff I picked up from Dollar Tree. There are 8 varieties of these Christmas Village buildings. They are plastic. Looks like they take batteries and have a switch so they light up. So it looks like there's a diner, a bakery, I think it's a candy store. Christmas tree farm, there we go. A church, of course. Looks like just a house. And another house. There's a toy store, and looks like a florist. I thought there was a candy store, but either way. You got several varieties of these auto brush type trees. Some with snow, different colors, sparkly, whatever. I might go back and pick up more. This is just a basic, like a felt ground cover and a piece of black plastic that I'm going to use to kind of dress up the sides of my layout. So I'm going to use all of these. I've got a few other things that I've picked up over the years that'll go on the layout. So the idea is it's just going to be like a snow themed layout with a loop of tracks, some sidings, maybe some displays, Christmas tree farm, who knows? But it's all going to light up. It's all going to look cool. Step 1 is going to be to actually just clean up the layout, get all the junk off. Already started with getting rid of some of it, but it's kind of just in the corner of my workshop. It doesn't really get used for much anymore other than to collect junk. So clean it off, and then I'm going to probably detach it from its legs, bring it out someplace where I can work on it a little bit easier. Actually, first step is going to be to fix the lighting probably in my workshop. For some reason the fluorescent tubes don't want to come on today, so this is basically just window light right now. So here are the things that I need to do. I first of all need to get the layout out of the corner of my workshop here and detach it from this yard extension that's back here. Detach it from this. Just going to probably create a little spur. But the whole point of having that little spur there is to connect it onto future fiddle yards or whatever in the future. I need to fix this bridge, change the configuration of the river a little bit, but I think I'm going to keep the river. Might be kind of a nice scene, maybe put a pedestrian bridge or something over it. Here are the buildings. I got a Dollar Tree. Lights come on, they all work. I'm going to get rid of this little coal spur back here, get rid of that switch, simplify it up a little bit. But it's nice to have the little side tracks. Might put a station somewhere along it. I think that'd be a nice scene. Also might make like a Christmas tree farm or something like that. But anyway, that's the first thing is I'm gonna figure out how I have this attached, pull it out someplace where I can work on it a little bit better, and just get to work. I realize I've only got about 2 weeks to transform my old workshop layout into a Christmas Village, so I can't get too elaborate with it, but the few things that I want to do to start out with is I am going to take this section here. So the river is now going this way. I'm going to make it go this way. So here's the line. I'm going to fill this area in with some foam. And over here, I'm going to get rid of this switch this move that whole track over there a little bit to give it a little bit more room. I really don't need the sidings for this kind of a layout, but again, this is probably going to go back in my workshop and still be a test layout. So I'm going to add this piece of track off to the side, which is going to go to any potential fiddle yards or anything like that that I have, or just car storage. But other than that, I'm going to dress up the sides a little bit, paint the whole thing's white, the whole layout surface white. And this is Bachmann Easy Track. It's not the best track product out there, but it's perfect for things like this. Easy setup on temporary layouts or display layouts, but you can also ballast it. So that was my experiment with ballasting Easy Track. So I'm either going to have to ballast the rest of it or remove the ballast. I'm leaning towards removing it. And then just simply because this is going to be like a snow-covered layout, I'm just going to paint the sides of the Easy Track white. And I think that will work out well. So rather than buy little pieces of foam to fill in my gap here, I'm actually using this old foam cooler. Note this is the white beaded stuff that makes a mess. So I'm going to use I have a Harbor Freight foam cutter down here that I'm going to use to save on some of the mess. Ideally, you would want to use the pink or the blue insulating foam that you get at Home Depot or Lowe's or other home goods stores to be able to lay out with. It's stronger, less messy, but I don't want to go to the store and buy a whole big sheet, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the white beaded stuff. It's not as strong, but it should do just fine for this purpose. So I'm now noticing, I thought it was the same thickness, about an inch thick, but this white beaded foam is a little bit thicker than the foam that I used for the layout. So rather than cut it thinner, I noticed the part that I just ripped up here was made with foam core board. So stacked up layers of foam core board. So I'm probably going to do the same thing here because I have some foam core board left over somewhere. So I'm going to stack up some pieces and fill in that hole. Well, I made this layer cake of foam core board just in this spot right here. This is the same thickness, so 5 layers is the same thickness as 1 inch. I thought this was 1/4 inch foam core board, but this might be another victim of shrinkflation. We might be down to 0.2 inch instead of 0.25 for the same price, but 5 layers, 1 inch. That's going to serve that gap here. I'll make a little abutment here and here on the side. And so I'm just going to go ahead and glue this in with some yellow carpenter's glue and wait for it to dry. I disconnected my my siding here, so I had to kind of pry it up from the caulking that I had used to glue it down with. I need to disconnect the switch. Looks like I went and soldered it at some point, soldered this joint here together. So I'm gonna have to unsolder that, take the switch off. Then I'm actually going to go through and solder all my rail joints together. Portable layout. It's gonna probably be exposed to a lot of elements, so I wanna make sure that the rail joints are solid. So now my track is all soldered, every joint, with the exception of one that had some paint on it, so I need to clean the paint off before I can solder it. But I just need to clean them up a little bit. It's not my best soldering job, but it will do. It will guarantee me some electrical conductivity. So in the middle of the display, I'm not going to have problems with train stopping. Also provide a little bit better of a mechanical connection, which will be nice as I move the layout around. I don't want track joints separating. One last thing before I call it a night is to add a little bit of a fascia on the outside of the layout to make it look nice, but also to kind of serve as a little bit of a barrier here to keep trains from derailing. So I've got the top of this a little bit higher than the rails by about 1/4 of an inch. So I'll fill in that gap a little bit, maybe a little tapered slope through here or something. But that'll kind of keep the trains on the layout, hopefully. What I'm using is this corrugated cardboard Coroplast, I guess. Got it at Michael's. I guess if it was election season, there'd be this stuff laying all over the place. Told it's illegal to take it, but I don't know what to do with it afterwards. But anyway, yard sale signs, that kind of stuff. It's made from it. But I am gluing it. I've already started to glue the first one on, so I cut a strip of it about 2 3/4 inches. I pinned it with some roofing nails, and I glued it with some Gorilla Glue. At this point, I'm going to next glue on this side, so this side's still, I mean, I got it pinned, but it's loose. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the whole layout. Then I will call it a night. I don't know if this stuff is old or if it's just cold outside, but man, waiting for this stuff, just not fun. And now to fit the next piece. And oh bugger, I'm about 1 inch too short. And of course I'm gonna have to do something here for my river or bridge, because that looked kind of silly. One thing to note here, I used the corrugation sort of in the vertical direction. So open holes at the top. This allows it to bend around this curve. If I oriented the plastic the other way, it's not going to make a very smooth bend. It's probably just going to kink. Remember those old Heinz ketchup commercials? Best things come to those who wait. Well, not for me. I'm sick and tired of waiting about this. And here's something you can do with those extra roofing nails that I know you've been saving. Too lazy to work on the roof, so you might as well use them for this. And getting a little tired of fighting with my Gorilla Glue. Gonna have to go to the store tomorrow and get some more. So I'm going to call it a night. The next time you see me, I will have this all edged out with some of this pretty plastic and begin working on turning this thing into a blizzard. Tonen. Well, if you've been saving some extra roofing nails for no reason, here's something you can use them for. Too lazy to fix the roof? At least they can be used for this. And I am getting a little sick of fighting my Gorilla Glue, which is almost gone. So I'm going to run to the store tomorrow and buy some more. So next time you see me, I will have the edge all done. So if you can't wait to see what's next, I'll give you a little hint. It involves just a little bit of the white stuff. Until then.